The final Gallagher Premiership match of 2024. Sandy Park happily stuffed full of festive well-wishers. But for all the Christmas celebrations in these parts, you feel most Chiefs fans would swap all their presents for just one league victory right now. None from 8 in the Premiership and rock bottom of the table. And when you are down amongst the dead men, you rarely catch a break. So when Feyi-Waboso dislocated his shoulder last week in Salford, the Chiefs lost their most potent attacking weapon. They hope not for too long, but as a result, Tommy Wyatt switches to the wing. Josh Hodge returns at fullback. Henry Slade again employed at fly half as Rob Baxter seeks that calm control from his half-backs. Up front, Jacques Vermeulen returning to the starting 15 to bring his own brand of South African abrasion. And Richard Capstick switches places with Franco Molina, the Puma, named on the bench this afternoon. Well, Jules Skivington has had props on his mind recently. Once again, Rapava-Ruskin's knee flared up in the warm-up against Quins. He's not right yet. So Mako Vivas is on the loose head, and Kirill Gotovtsev steps up at tight head prop. Afo Fazogbon sidelined with an ankle problem, picked up last week. They're the only two changes made, though, with the momentum behind them. Cohesion is the watchword. Lewis Ludlow, again, heroic last week. And the Welsh international halfback steered things well. And Max Llewellyn, as we've been discussing, emphasised his class in the centres. No shortage of gas, of course, in that back three either. Time for the head-to-heads. Flats.
I think such an interesting gauge for both sides at the open sides today. Vermeulen, Ludlow, Ruan Ackerman at number 8 for Gloucester falls into this category too. It's heartbeat versus heartbeat. Big, aggressive, dominant men, relentlessly competitive, verging on wild at times. Love watching them play. Whoever has the upper hand, there's a good chance that team's winning.
In the battle of the backlines, I think you say that Gloucester have it on paper, more to do with the mindset than just the names. You look at Henry Slade under a huge amount of pressure, taking a lot of pressure on himself, and maybe playing too much rugby by himself. You contrast that with Anscombe, who's just got a lovely, free-flowing way about him, albeit he's got two fantastic centres outside to pass the ball to.
So the Cherry and Whites enjoying some genuine momentum at the moment. For the first time in 2 years, they've won 3 Premiership games in a row. They're at the very least in the playoff conversation, not something we've been able to say too many times in recent campaigns. And for the Chiefs, this long old wait continues. Lewis Ludlow's side playing with confidence, with a buccaneering spirit and a style that they're all enjoying, crucially. And I think a style that really suits their squad. Excellent for the most part in shutting out Quins last week. I think of all the things that they would be pleased about, their defence would be top of the list. Not previously a strength, but managing to keep Harlequins pointless was something a little bit special at Kingsholm. And they need to try and replicate that and find a degree of ruthlessness, you feel, because although they're there or thereabouts with the playoffs, Austin, you feel it's a long old way to travel. They've not quite shown enough consistency across the piece to make you feel like this is a nailed-on thing.
And certainly not here. They've got a terrible record here, and against Exeter in general, but their style of play is different this year to what they've done in previous years. They're playing a lot more rugby. The little tip-on plays in midfield are very difficult to defend against, particularly if you get them right. So a big start from Gloucester is normally what we'd see, and that will really add to the pressure here for the Chiefs.
232 days since Exeter's last league win. May the 11th against Harlequins here. Much, much too long. Even for a young, developing squad. These have been bruising, damaging months. Beaten up and learning lessons every week. There's only so long you can handle that. It's time to stop the rot. In their favour today, as Austin alluded to, history. They haven't lost to Gloucester here in a decade. So long ago that David Cameron was Prime Minister. And we've had a few since him, I think.
I thought you were going to say David Campese was playing at one stage.
Well, he mercifully wasn't Prime Minister either, which is probably a good thing. So a full house and a new year within sight. Maybe it's time for a new winning Exeter to burst through. Gloucester will have plenty to say about that. And much will rest as ever on the broad shoulders of Henry Slade, the senior citizen, the man who's taking on a whole lot of duties from number 10. Ian Tempest in charge, Anthony Woodthorpe and Gareth Holsgrove running the lines, and our television match official David Rose. Time for the Chiefs to put words into actions and offer a little bit of hope for 2025 for the final time in this calendar year. The Premiership kicks off, and I think that may well have come forwards from Gloucester. Hodge opening things up straight away. Slade onto the ball across the 10-metre line. Really bright start from the Chiefs. Playing in their black strip. And Townsend finding Hammersley. Vermeulen waiting. Just the kind of man for this occasion. Quickly fizzed out to Hodge, and a little rumble from Scott Seo, this hugely experienced Australian international. Hodge again on the ball. No Mani Feyi-Waboso, remember, so a little bit of a tweak to the Chiefs' back three. This is good in terms of continuity and fluency from Exeter so far. Through she goes from Townsend, just asking a question or two of Josh Hathaway in the backfield. And it's, was it safely away? That might just have bounced back in field. No, out it goes.
It did feel like Chiefs weren't quite getting anywhere, but they were recycling the ball cleanly and quickly enough. I'll come back to that. Just wondered if they panicked and kicked a bit too early.
That's a lovely little kick from Townsend. That's clever.
That's what they need. They need big moments from their half-backs. That's what they've lacked, really, the ability to force sides back, to go through the phases intelligently, not play too much in the middle part of the field. Last week, they hardly carried at all. They hardly kicked. They gave away 18 penalties. So discipline, big moments from the 9 and 10 would give them a good chance.
A little bit of urgency as well. That intensity that Rob Baxter's been calling for. But actually, loose at the line out. Frost is over. A Christmas gift. Dan Frost can hardly believe it. Maybe that's a spark that the Chiefs need. Something to fire their spirit. Send them on their way.
I was just going to say, Ali, I promise, what you've got to do if you're Exeter Chiefs here is get off the deck and pressure this drill. Pressure it. Don't let it be an easy drill. If they go over the top, let them go over the top.
Yeah, tries all
Actually,
good tempo,
the
no
drill
issues.
is ropey. By the time the ball passes over the top of Freddie Thomas's head, he's not yet at full extension. He does get there, but the ball is either there too early or the jump is too late. You would imagine that close to the line, it would be a jump throw, so the players would jump and the ball would be chucked in secondarily, quickly to hit them. That timing was off, the drill was off. That's a gift for Chiefs.
The quickest try that they've scored in this campaign, Exeter, and a platform at the very least. Through she goes.
Just looking closely, Flats at the lift, and whether it was a little bit late, but you look at the hand placement, you see the guy in behind there, his hands are in a decent spot, he looks like he's in a good position early enough. I think it's just an overthrow.
I think it's an overthrow, and I think the throw's there too early. It's too high too early. It's timing. Horrible moment. It's probably for Seb Blake. Hookers get blamed for everything. Might not all be his fault. He'll feel like it is, but he's a very, very promising young player, so you'd expect him to recover from that. Great start for Chiefs.
Taken in this time by Ethan Roots. All the possession to this point with the home side. I was just about to mention before Frost pounced that Rob Baxter's previous messages of intensity and hunger and kind of desperation have been replaced as we see Tommy Wyatt gather an excellent high ball. The message today and all this week has been much more about accuracy. We felt the desperation was leading to quite a few of those penalties that they gave away last season as Hathaway clears Gloucester's lines.
It's two good kicks, though, that have gotten the field position. Townsend, first of all, for the try, getting them down for a lot of pressure near their line. And then Slade again with a lovely kick, finding the grass in the 22 in the red zone. There's more than one way to enter the red zone.
Cross to the front this time, and Sio is the man. Tua in the midfield. Wyatt to Woodburn. For Mullen. Dafydd Jenkins, you understand, not actually feeling too well this afternoon. Dafydd Jenkins.
I'd be feeling terrible if we'd lost 8 games on the bounce as well.
Well, I think there's a little bit of sickness around. Ross Vincent had to pull out late on. That's gone forwards from Stu Townsend, so a knock on, a scrum to Gloucester.
I can tell you from personal experience, there's only one thing worse than playing second row in the Prem when you're not feeling well, and that is playing front row in the Prem when you're not feeling very well. It's just harder. Right for you, Oz.
You move basically 10 metres from side to side and push.
Yeah, but it's really hard.
I had to run 10 miles per game.
5 off the speed.
That's another big advantage for the Chiefs there.
Just a penalty on that. Okay. So cynically on the floor playing it.
Oh dear. Penalised here.
5.
Matthias Alemano.
Okay, you see, I think it's the left arm. You see him come through. He's in the scrum hat here. Just watch that right arm there. He just has a little dig at Stu Townsend. Good spot.
You're off your feet.
Yeah. Lying prone. And picked out.
I say good spot. He's hardly inconspicuous, is he? Actually, ridiculous error rather than good spot.
So that's sloppy, and it's a decision that might well cost them. Slade now from, what, 42 metres out?
I saw him in the hotel last night in the sweet shop, and I think he bought a really big bag of Skittles, and I think he's just had a bit of a sugar rush there. It's gone too far.
That's exactly the reason why.
It was the only reason I can think of.
Insight you can't buy. Slade, he's got hold of it, but he's pushed it to the left by the look of things. Exeter 7, Gloucester 0 remains the scoreline. Yes, of course, I am being reminded that you can actually buy this kind of insight elsewhere.
Yeah. It's the little details, Ali, that most people don't know about.
I know,
that you
these
just
are
try and
the
deliver.
These are the bits.
We think of it as mundane, but actually it's fascinating when Oz gets into his stride, isn't it?
Carreras goes long. And Fizzalau waiting. Slade to the heavens. Santi Carreras waits. Eyes up. Calls for the mark. Takes it quickly. Knowing that all of those in front of him, immediately in front of him, can't touch him. Fizzalau makes the tackle just near the halfway line. Seb Atkinson, space in the backfield, lots of it. You'd dearly love that to stay in the field of play. It's just going to roll and sit for Slade, who thumps it away. Bit of a decent net gain, though, for Gloucester on the meterage.
A really good chase, forcing Henry Slade into a poor kick then. This was really good awareness from Santi Carreras. It was important because he knew that certain players around him, in front of him, couldn't touch him. He knew that, so he's well aware. But also, I know we're only 7 or 8 minutes in, but all the tempo has been owned by the Chiefs so far, and he knows he's got to get a bit of zip, a bit of aggression into the Gloucester game. So he just upped it and went quick. It was sharp.
First meaningful possession for the Cherry and Whites, and there's Llewellyn crashing his way into the 22. Fast ball, Blake providing the ball for Clement. Here's Ackerman, and a big old shot coming in from Dafydd Jenkins. Vivas swivels upon gathering. Atkinson delays that pass for his skipper Ludlow, who's driven back, and Exeter doing a fine job of work here defensively. Excellent line speed as they drive the Cherry and Whites back, and the counter-ruck is strong, and the hunger is there for all to see, and Woodburn gives that some welly, and he's put it out on the full.
Do you know what? Real shame that for Ollie Woodburn and the Chiefs. That was a really, really good defensive set. It began actually, the tackle before this, Dan Frost flew out of the line and hit Vivas, took a load of meterage off him, and it was really aggressive, really aligned, really well connected from Chiefs. Super aggro on that counter-ruck. It's just a kick that didn't go to plan. Gloucester carried well once or twice through Llewellyn and Clement, but they got bashed after that.
Line-out ball secured by Clements, and again it's Atkinson in the midfield who's developed so quickly into this essential player for George Skivington. Playing with an advantage here, Carreras sizing up the options. Hodge turns, and back we come for the Gloucester penalty.
High tackle, penalty only.
He flew into her, didn't he?
I just think they've got to be careful. I know they're keen, I know they're desperate to get on top defensively, but their alignment in their defensive line's all over the place in the midfield. We take a look at one of the earlier breaks. It's quite a simple setup, you know. You see you get back in position, you want line speed, but you look at Frost, he's miles out in front of everyone else, which means Hammersley outside him has to blitz as well. That's not a connected defensive line. He then has to go around the outside. Watch what happens when he gets to the contact point. He's completely out of it, he's gone. They've got to the corner. It's only good cover across and a poor kick that means they get past, but the same thing's just happened right in front of us here. If they don't control that connectivity in their defence, Gloucester will break them down. I'll be sending a message on now saying, just calm it down a little bit, lads. We're in control at the minute.
Quality connection from Carreras. Gloucester on the board, Exeter 7, Gloucester 3. Just going back to that defensive conversation, obviously Chiefs decided that they didn't need the services of Omar Munemi, who was in charge of their defensive setup, and he was the one who's really kind of driving this big blitz that they were pioneering, with Slade at 13 crucially, and I think they just had to back off from that system. Partly on account of personnel, as we see quite a heavy collision in the air, Woodburn falling a little awkwardly.
But also, I mean, professional team after professional team, Springboks aside, have shown us that it's really, really hard to master the blitz defence if that's your only option. Anyone can blitz every now and again when it's appropriate. God, Woodburn was so close to doing something spectacular in the... We've seen it from him before. Very, very skillful with his arms over his head. Dolly Woodburn in the air, but it's so hard to master it. We saw it with England in the autumn a bit. And especially when you don't have Henry Slade, who is a top-of-the-range defender at 13, the likelihood of it going wrong increases. Seems like a wise decision to have ditched it to me.
Bind!
I just guess it can lead to a little bit of confusion here and there. If you've adopted one policy, you then go back to a different one. You've got different personnel dropping in at different moments. It's quite hard to gain a
job. Yeah, he's in a 13 shirt. And if you are going to defend like that, you have to defend slightly wider to begin with in your setup. So the spaces to attack are bigger. Defensively, it's more difficult. Yes, you can put pressure on the backfield and pressure on the line of sight of a passer. Yes, you can make intercepts. I'm not sure that positive outweighs the negative.
Crouch! Bind!
Skill sets of these players now, though, they can move the ball wide very, very quickly. So you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Thomas Williams from the base. Atkinson leaves it there for Williams. He did so well to get that away to Anscombe. Space opening up in front. And a chase on here for Wade. Cross comes Hodge.
Take it in. Keep going.
Sends it deep. Thomas Williams waiting. Wyatt.
Just felt a bit prescriptive, that from Thomas Williams. A brilliant player in brilliant form, but he telegraphed where he's going to kick that ball. By the time he kicked it, there were players in position. Just made life a little bit easier for Chiefs then.
Hathaway's clearance. Hodge with the quick one for Woodburn.
By himself. Great clear out there.
Hammersley for Wyatt. Gloucester straying offside defensively. Marcus Street is caught behind the gain line. There's the blast on the Ian Tempest whistle.
How good was a piece of skill from Thomas Williams? Gets caught, they read the play really well. Blitz on the outside, little chest pass, not just a little one, missed chest pass. This is brilliant.
That's like elite level netball.
It is.
But it looked a little bit, it looked really well read by Chiefs and a little bit pedestrian. And you thought they're going to get done here, not far from their own line. That was a very important piece of skill. What a kick.
Line, please. Line
just one of the Slade super strengths.
He's done a Slady.
Bang on the 5. Carrot in front of Donkeys.
Just keep your eye on Gloucester, see if they get off the ground or if they stay down and try and defend that maul at full chat.
Off just through the fingertips of Jenkins. It's messy, and Gloucester are scrambling hard and trying to hack it through. It's been knocked forwards by the Cherry and Whites en route.
We'll see whether he does knock it on. I thought at first when he kicked it, goes through. Does he touch it with his hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, just. Might see it better from this side.
Too big, that throw, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, well, Gloucester didn't go up. You could have played it safe. But we saw what happened when Chiefs got up for Gloucester. You've got to throw double top or as close to it as you possibly can, just in case. That was pushed too hard.
Lovely options here, Austin.
Yeah, just 1 or 2. Wouldn't mind seeing Fislau off the base, would you? Then get a right shoulder up in the scrum. Rock solid scrum. There you go, it's a little bit of a right.
He's going to leave it here for Townsend, who breaks and heads to the try line by himself. He's being manhandled by Ackerman and friends. And the ball is held up, but they are the beneficiaries regardless of that foray.
No. Wait, I need to make sure your players are ready as well. Just 1 sec. Tackle off the ball. That is held up.
In all the chaos caused by Townsend's carry, Gloucester giving up the penalty. Here they come then, Exeter. In that space, they always used to be so comfortable. Vermeulen batters his way through that initial challenge. Townsend wants it. Roots is there. CO alongside him, frees up the arms. Carried on by Frost. Very close to a second. CO, another advantage in behind Exeter. He must be close to approaching card territory. Crossfield with a kick pass from Slade, and Tua will score. Goal dust for Exeter. Simple goal dust. Rock bottom of the table, but they've scored the first 2 of the afternoon here at Sandy Park, and they've done it in an excellent fashion. Patient in the build-up and then clinical in the execution.
Back themselves, turn down the 3 for the tackle off the ball. I want you to keep your eyes on Stu Townsend, the 9. Watch this clear out, bang! Absolutely no hesitation. Clearing out an international second row. Without him, this ball doesn't come back, despite the Ethan Roots carry, which was very important and was a fantastic carry. The ball isn't there if it isn't for Stu Townsend, smacking himself in there. Absolute commitment, great tempo, lovely try.
First try in the Premiership for Tamati Tua, former Brumbies man. Made his Premiership debut just 4 weeks ago, and in the end a straightforward finish. Clever little kick pass from Slade, who slots the conversion.
Yeah, we see this time and time again. When you're really close, you get the penalty, but sometimes forwards go one more time. I think you should never do it because there's only 3 defenders there and they all have to step back in. Look at the space that gives Slade. He's got a huge amount of area. You could shinbone that into it. Tua's got loads of time to take, step and score. It's a really good example of that. Get the penalty, don't waste your time with the forwards one more go. Kick it crossfield, because more often than not, or pass it, you score a try.
Especially with the laws as they are now, where you get held up and you lose the ball anyway. Bang on.
Hodge, only give a bit of space in there between Anscombe and Wade. Here is Wade, first time ball in hand. That's fallen nicely for Slade. Carreras decided to chew up a few extra metres himself. Hodge waiting. Woodburn. Wyatt. Could do with another body or 2, you feel. Just about enough men there for Exeter, and Townsend Feeds Slade again and steps nicely, keeps the ball alive well. Capstick intervention from Clements. It's gone backwards from Gloucester, so the ball's still with Exeter. Roots pops it over the top and Vermeulen carries it on. This is so much better in terms of continuity from the Chiefs. Beginning to feel a little bit more like themselves. Slade wrestling here with Freddie Thomas, who hangs on in the fight. Jenkins. Little dab through. Wyatt was waiting, looking to time his run. Oh, it's worked out. Probably could or should have held on to that. The challenge from Hathaway was enough. Tomas Williams sets off for Gloucester. Wade's on his shoulder.
How about the pick-up from Williams and then the step?
Anscombe. Gloucester want continuity of their own. They've really not managed anything to this point. Maybe now they'll get a chance to run. Llewellyn cut down on the 10-metre line. One of the Exeter Chiefs players is down on the far side. And a penalty to Gloucester.
Roll back into the channel, tackle and roll.
They get a good bounce, don't they, on the initial chip. It just sits up away from Hathaway. Look at this pickup. One hand, scoops it, beats the cover, steps inside.
Let's go, fellas.
Is there a better 9 currently that could be playing for the Lions in the
He's
summer?
not
He is
Let's go.
class. Pretty much everything he does is class.
Time
Mitchell,
off, no water,
him
please.
and Mitchell head
Him
to
and
head.
Mitchell.
Time off.
Yeah.
Kick his boot. Yeah, that's fine.
Fab players.
I think we've left a few out there.
We will have done, but can't think of everything, can we?
Well, it's impressive the way he's come back as well so quickly from that injury picked up in the Wales-Fiji game. As we see Tamati Tua, one of the 2 try scorers for the Chiefs, taking a while to get to his feet.
Seb Atkinson actually did really well here because Gloucester went laterally. They wanted to do something, haven't had the ball for a bit. Ollie Woodburn stepped in, and actually Seb Atkinson did really well to put Hathaway away and create anything out of that.
So Carreras looking for distance. Let's have a quick word with Rob Baxter, Director of Rugby with the Chiefs. Rob, you called for kind of accuracy overarchingly this week, didn't you? Are you seeing enough of that? You must be delighted with the platform you've built.
Yeah, I think we're doing really well and we're showing a great attitude to kind of play, which I think is really important for us. I do think we have to try and not be so afraid of doing anything, of making mistakes, that we don't do anything. It is creating a bit of a broken up game, but we're in it, aren't we? We're in most of the moments. We've got to be very aware there when the game broke up. That's very much what Gloucester wanted to create and want to thrive on, and we've almost got to be at our best then at those moments. So we're going okay, aren't we? We're going okay. We've just got to try and finish our moments off.
Thanks for your time, Rob. Think we're going to leave it there for now. The ball is with Exeter and they're looking promising on the outskirts of the 22. Wyatt taking on Wade, pumping those legs inside the 22. Strong work from the winger. Vermeulen waits, drives hard into that white-shirted defence. There is a hunger and a desire about the Chiefs today, most noticeable. Street with the clear out. Slade to Tua. Here's Frost, tries to get that fend in and head round the outside, makes it into the 22. I think that might have gone forwards,
Yeah, quite wide.
arriving inside the 22, did it not? Fizzle out.
Geez, he gets through some work, doesn't he, Fizzle out?
Slade again, Vermeulen, lovely work. Tua to Hodge, 3 men in front of him. Wade blocks his path very effectively. He's looking uncomfortable as a result, but Gloucester win the penalty on the deck.
Yeah, they looked a bit thin there, didn't they, at the breakdown? Chiefs got a bit narrow in attack. We just go back to the line-out. This isn't a technical analysis. It's a brilliant steal from Ethan Roots. But what you've got is a young hooker in Seb Blake. Very, very good player, as we all know. But he's under pressure having missed that first line-out. So what do? Just get someone big and tall in his face at every single opportunity. You want to get in his head. It's brutal. It's a sporting version of bullying, but you want to get in his head and just give him something to throw over. They've nicked a couple of balls off him now, and he'll be thinking about this in the front and the back of his mind.
There he is, front and centre again. Finds Alamano this time. Anscombe for Llewellyn. And the numbers pouring round the corner. Jack Clement amongst them. Had a very bright season, Jack Clement. The ball is there for Williams. Anscombe, Carreras, little dab forwards. Wade is after this one.
Oh, he saw that.
He saw him.
That's a corner of the eye stuff. That's longevity in your career.
Yeah.
You know, if you put your hands above your head and someone's coming towards you at full tilt, you retire in a good year early. This is a good example of it. It's actually quite a nice kick, but just watch his head turn. Last second. Oh, no, I don't really fancy that.
Well, Tommy Wyatt carried into him off the touchline a couple of minutes ago, didn't he? And I think Christian Wade struggled to stop him. He might have been surprised by Tommy Wyatt's power. Didn't want to give him a free shot at the old ribcage. Can't blame him. I mean, if it caught it, he'd have got belted into touch, wouldn't he? It was lose-lose, that.
Crouch! Bind!
That's going to need. I thought I was going to be needing a reset, but the free kick was awarded to the Chiefs on account of the activities of Mako Vivas. A little bit of chat, and Exeter moved to halfway.
Got to stay polite, boys. Even when it's going off, you've got to stay polite.
Slade, no angle to work with, really, so he's going to make this contestable. Carreras waits and calls for the mark. Thinks about setting it on, and he's walloped it straight into Tommy Wyatt's backside.
I bet he was good at that game you played when you were kids, where one of you had to lean against the garage.
Misspent youth flats.
Yeah.
This time away up to halfway. Let's have another look at this.
See what Tempo did well on the backside for Tommy Wyatt, and then yeah, in Tempo, the ref, he went off the field. He talks all the time about what a great player he was when he was younger, and he could have made it. Maybe he's right.
There's 5 lads.
Frost, catchstick, a blur of activity in the middle of the lineup. There's so much movement. Daffis Jenkins at the tail is the man that they send it to. And here's Roots breaking clear.
No, step back.
Tua. Fizzle out the dummy runner this time. Slade to Hammersley. Exeter throwing lots of really nice shapes.
Good steal.
In the direction of the Gloucester defence. That is a fine turnover.
It's a cracking shot, wasn't it? Yeah. On Hammersley, and a brilliant turnover from Ludlow, that.
Carreras looking up to see where Wade was, just to see if he could interest him in the chase.
He's helped by the tackle, isn't he? Flats actually stops him. They're backing off, actually. They're not coming forward, which is good, which actually allows your back row to get in behind the ball quicker. His technique is spot on.
Yeah, to emphasise it, it might be a good idea to watch Greg Fizzleow, because he's expecting Hammersley to watch Greg Fizzleow at 8 here. He's expecting he's got to run all the way back around.
Yeah.
Which is what you said. So it just gives Ludlow a head start. That shot sets up the turnover. Really good D.
That's a penalty for playing the arm, I think.
Some scrappy possession regardless, and Tomas Williams struggling to stem the flow here. For a moment trying to hold up 3 Chiefs all by himself. Here's Vermeulen. Gloucester sending more men into the backfield. Ludlow's back there to join Carreras, knowing what's coming. And directly into touch. Oz.
I just want to look actually at how you can save your forwards. Instead of just setting them out with a pod, watch Seb Blake. He's just shut the line out, but watch where he goes. Now, when you watch Chiefs play, they send 3 guys out and they run him into a brick wall. He doesn't. He goes inside as a decoy. They put the ball in behind him. It just gives one of your other forwards a one-on-one tackle as opposed to a 3-on-1 tackle. It's really clever play. It requires a lot of hard work, but you'll contrast that in a minute when you watch the Chiefs go through phases. They get a 3-man pod. It goes to Vermeulen, who runs in and gets absolutely clattered by 3 guys.
Clement for Gloucester.
No hands.
And their line-out hasn't really worked out
either
on this occasion. Williams high for Wyatt, and Wade with a little bit of help from Blake. Fizzler.
We talk a lot about Fizzlow's work, the keenness to carry, but Oz is right. If you're sending him into brick walls, he'll always do all right for you. But that little bit of extra sophistication that Oz just highlighted from Gloucester, imagine what the damage he could do with that.
Once again, Ludlow trotting back to offer support for those in the backfield. And Tomas Williams has found how the way. Tries to accelerate beyond halfway. He's brought down by Woodburn. Anscombe to Clement again. Once again, this first up tackling from Exeter really strong. Carreras. Gloucester trying to break the spell, trying to find that chink in the Chiefs' armour. Clement again, once more, there are two Chiefs in his face. Williams, Seb Blake to Hathaway. A little overexcited. And I think you can put that down to the hustle and the harry of the Chiefs' defence.
I think you can, and Tomas Williams gets the ball off the deck so quick. I think he almost surprises his teammates there. How quick he digs it out. Didn't look quite prepared for it. He's so sharp, isn't he? Great hustle indeed. Ethan Roots has been prominent this first half an hour, hasn't he? Both sides of the ball. He's putting it about.
Balance, please, balance. Don't stand
prolific usually in the first 40. The Cherry and Whites, not so today. Just that single penalty from Santi Carreras to this point. They've been harried at every turn by this very hungry Exeter team. Townsend, bit of trouble at the base, and now he's got Ludlow to deal with as well. Gloucester pouring forwards, and it's their turn this time to have the benefit of that extra hard work from the set piece.
Good power from the Gloucester side. You can see Gotovtsev on this side. He's going around the outside a little bit. That penalty could have gone either way, but he's definitely putting pressure on Scott Seo. It was definitely the plan. It worked out for Gloucester. Great hustle after the disrupted scrum. 50-50 call that.
Yeah, touch missed, and Woodburn then hacks it clear off the outside edge of the boot. He's not got a lot of distance on that, if any, really, just beyond the 22. I feel like it's time for Gloucester to try to thread something together. They've lacked fluency. Discussed many of the reasons for that, and a messy line-out is one of them. That's the third, I think, this afternoon that's gone against them, and Chiefs have it through Fizzlow's driving forwards, and then the whistle. Knocked on in the line-out by Exeter, so a reprieve for George Skivington's men.
Exeter have been good defensively, haven't they? But let's be honest, Gloucester haven't got off the bus. They haven't come out the hotel. Silly little mistakes means that they can't get their starter plays going.
Well, you might have a 9, 10, 12, 13 combination that did get off the bus, but they can't get any decent ball from set piece because Chiefs are nicking it all. There might be some brilliance waiting to happen. They just need the ball.
They tend to be good in this sort of scenario, and they try and get Hathaway onto the corner because he's so quick. If you can just hold on to Hammersley on the short side and get that guy in the blue scrum cap motoring, he's a really tough guy to tackle, particularly from this side of the field. Because he is rapido.
Big shove from Exeter.
Got to get it out first.
And that is a penalty to the Chiefs. And the set piece, whether the line out or the scrum, is a problem for Gloucester right now. Exeter growing with every minute and with every blast on the whistle.
And at the last scrum, Gloucester won the penalty, but it could have gone either way, as I said. That was not debatable. Absolutely the right call. Scott Seo on the loose said 74 caps for the Australian Wallabies. Knows his onions.
Kept in field. I think that was knocked on, though, in the process by Tomas Williams. So that's huge for Chiefs. They'll have the scrum now on the 22-metre line. Williams did so well to gather it, and then just as he was coming down to earth, it spat out of his arms.
There's your mark odds, please. Mark on.
And every side, of course, has injuries to contend with. Feyi-Waboso and Ross Vincent unavailable today for the Chiefs. Gloucester, it must be said, are a little bit short, or at least they've been disrupted in that front row with injuries to Rapava-Ruskin and Fazogbo.
Jamison Gibson Park, we forgot, talking about scrum halves. He might be with a shout.
That was 20 minutes ago.
Oh no, it's just come to me. Just come to me. Not leaving him out. He might be the best of the lot.
Behind the ball! Behind the ball!
Townsend being harassed, but Fizzleau takes it upon himself and does really well. Roots, the provider. Slade to Hodge. Jenkins, Slade again, popping up into position. Now they're potentially in overlap. Seo works it wide. Frost in that 5-metre channel. Takes on Hathaway, keeps it alive. Here's Tua. Flips it behind his back. Street rumbles onto it.
No!
Better late than never.
Rumbles or rolls.
Frost. Oh, not quite read by Fizzleout.
Onside.
I don't think anybody saw that by Dan Frost himself. Atkinson for Gloucester in the meantime. That's out of the back door, but it's been knocked on arguably by the Chiefs. But no, in the eyes of Ian Tempest, forwards from Gloucester, a little messy.
I think Atkinson's got a case there. It looks like he tried to offload it backwards. It went into the body of one of the Chiefs players, but how quickly did Ludlow dive on the ball then? Nice footwork from Frost. Got the call on the inside, but obviously not from one of his own teammates.
Well, I think Fizzleout was there when he thought of it. He just wasn't there when he threw it. You can see just inside. I don't know if you can see the angle there. He was there, then he wasn't.
Okay. You're in the
Yeah, Lewis Ludlow.
I've had a word with him.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Absolutely loves it.
You can't be offside yourself. I agree, he has to follow around.
88th Premiership match as captain this afternoon for
Yeah,
Gloucester, Lewis Ludlow.
as long as you're onside, I can deal with him as well, okay?
He's fresh out of the Lewis Moody brand of flankers, isn't he?
Follow the ball around.
Labrador chasing a frisbee.
Must be an intensely difficult player to play against. Never, ever stops.
All I'll say is I hope he's insured.
Yeah, there is not a great deal of regard for his own personal safety, that's for sure. Kind of his stock in trade, though, if you play wearing number 7.
He looks all right, though. You know, his face, he's not, you know.
Apart from both his ankles being fused, all of his hands not working.
Just the face, though. You look at Lewis Moody's face, you know, he's had it tough, hasn't he? Say that as a friend.
I think Moodos is still quite good looking and youthful looking.
He is, in the same way as a cage fighter is.
Here's Fizzleout Tour on a lovely line. An excellent angle, setting up this fine field position for Exeter. Roots, who seems turbocharged today, still scrambling forwards, lays it up again. Vermeulen continues the motion. Chiefs hunting their 3rd try here. Capstick on the rumble. Townsend finds Wyatt. He's cut down low by Clement. Still to that shorter side. Townsend has a little go. Vermeulen organising the next pod, and he's at the forefront of it. Capstick rumbling alongside him with Marcus Street. Roots again, drops that shoulder. Frost, the footwork. Still Gloucester hold firm, need to come up with a big old stint here. It's opening up. Capstick could have, probably should have given that ball.
Oh, brilliant.
And Gloucester have the turnover.
Oh, do you know what? Chiefs were in. They were in. Somehow, some way, they were going to score. Maybe Capstick should have given it. Maybe you're right. But threat, Fizzleout, got to cover him. Tua, threat, got to cover him. There's momentum everywhere. First couple of phases off the set piece from Chiefs. Maybe Capstick should have thrown it. Whatever. Ruan Ackerman sees a shot, takes it, sees an opportunity and takes it. Fantastic defence. Really well organised by Gloucester. They were under the pump.
was a great bit of work from Ackerman. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Capstick was questioning his decision-making here. It had all seemed set up with two men outside him. Hodge and Woodburn, they're nailing that down, surely.
Well, the key to that is Hathaway's defence. Doesn't step in, doesn't bite in, he just bides his time and waits and waits and waits. And when you put indecision in a forward's mind, they start to think about breakfast.
Don't change outside.
Final minute of the half, a tryless first half for Gloucester. Carreras, though, might think about trying to change that picture. He is brought down eventually. Good line from Clement. The opportunity to keep the ball alive is strong, and then Hammersley drops on it, but Ian Tempest doesn't like it.
Yes, inside a metre, isn't it? It's a close one. But just looking back actually to that play, you need the work rate of your forwards on the inside if you are going to drop off. Look on the outside here, Alamano there, look what he does. He's in a good position, but he doesn't stop running. At this point, you think it's a try all day long, but he doesn't give up. He keeps working to the inside. Hathaway dropping off just gets in the eye line of the pass for Capstick. That's all you've got to do, is just stay alive for as long as you possibly can. The moment you bite in, players love it. They see your outside shoulder turn, they pass the ball and the game's over. Really good defence from Gloucester. Needed to be, because Exeter's attack has been very, very good in the last 20 minutes.
That stat, only 4 phases in Chiefs 22 for Gloucester versus 24 the other way round.
One last chance here for the Cherry and Whites. Ludlow gathers it in, and Tomas Williams has to reset things, but he's been bundled. Clement again, runs into Fizzle-out. And Exeter just making life very, very difficult at every ruck, seemingly. And there's the penalty.
You have to release.
That will see them safely into the sheds with this buffer.
It is the half, but you have to tap it if you want the half.
At the very least, this buffer.
Just running at that breakdown. It's good hustle from Chiefs defensively, but Freddie Thomas
that,
just seems number 4. I wonder if he gets his feet caught or if he just turns off. He just switches off a bit, all a bit passive, looks away, gets nailed. Cannot switch off.
Credit to Exeter, they're not happy with 11 points separating these two sides. They're going for it here, clock deep in the red at the end of this first period. And Frost with the delivery to Dafydd Jenkins. Fizzle-out feeds Townsend. Tour in the midfield. Cut down by the ankles by Ludlow. Townsend enveloped in the tackle by Alamano. Wyatt.
Seb, leave it, Seb.
And the ball is out. And Tour reacts first. Everybody's looking to the referee for some reason. In the meantime, Roots for Chiefs.
I think he might kick it out now.
Don't go in, don't go in.
Tour again, over the top, finds Fizzle-out via some Gloucester fingertips. And Townsend chips it forwards. Wyatt's on his way, and Wade is there. And Wade hasn't had a run yet, so he's fancying his chances. There's some pragmatism. Gareth Hanscom, enough, says the Welsh international. And Exeter well pleased with their first 40 minutes. The kind of 40 minutes that really should inspire some hope and some confidence and some belief for the rest of their season. They've got to get the job done in the second period, but they lead Gloucester here thanks to 2 tries. One from Frost, one from Tour. It's 14-3 at the break. I think we probably have to mention, though, at this point that they led Bristol by 32 points to 12 on 65 minutes and still conspired to lose. 4 tries in that final 15-minute period, which did for them. So they need to make sure they've got that steel to find a way over the line. It really doesn't matter how. Any which way will do at this point. Hammersley.
Good tackle. It's been taken back in.
There's Frost. Scored that first try. He's been an effervescent figure
Inside,
today.
inside.
A lot of chatter around the
Okay, use it,
possibility of
please.
him moving to Bath for next season. She goes from the base from Townsend. Some smart footwork from Carreras, still on his feet, right up until the moment that Capstick arrives.
And he did arrive, didn't he?
That's delicate from Anscombe, and Atkinson did really well to get onto it.
Level.
Anscombe this time floats it over the top, or what he thought was over the top of Hodge. Hodge was ready.
Great kick.
And the bounce takes it out.
Well, as soon as Anscombe sees that Hodge has caught it on the full and marked it, he's flying backwards, he's on his bike, but Hodge just gets such distance on those kicks, goes straight over the head of Anscombe. That's horrible, that, isn't it? Nightmare to deal with. Really good kick from Josh Hodge.
Now then, Gloucester line out. A malfunctioning set piece so far this afternoon. Delay on the input from Blake. This time Alamano rises, and Clement is on the march.
Gloucester have officially secured clean ball from their first line out in the second half.
Williams.
Stop. Yep.
Some of the pressure being applied by Vermeulen. Up goes Hathaway, in comes Woodburn. It's gone forwards from Woodburn, so a knock-on advantage here for Chiefs, and fizzle out to Tour and Hammersley, who's well met by Wade.
Couldn't see on the ball.
Jenkins, the captain, buffeted by the shot coming in from Marcus Street. Slade to Seo. Ludlow run over this time.
Good work. He is out.
Street searching for Wyatt. Here's Hodge. Oh, threads a lovely ball through the middle of the tunnel to Hammersley. Space in behind Carreras.
2 passes on here if he wants them.
Retreat.
The spiral picking out Hodge behind halfway. Slade now. Straightening well, tying in those defenders. Woodburn cuts back underneath him. Whipped away by Seo. Capstick. Hodge tucks that deep behind Carreras. Has he got the angle on it? It's going to hold up, I think. And he just floats beyond the line, but Carreras sees opportunity. Combination of Hammersley and Wyatt did so well to thwart that little adventure.
He's put his knees on him. He's put his knees on him. Okay, use it, please. Stop. It's 4. You're in front. You're in the rush.
A couple of nice touches from Josh. Oh, we're off. 2 Hodge.
Here he is on halfway, looking to find a way through, but Llewellyn shuts the door. Jenkins. To the short side. Wyatt. Been bright. Fizzle out. Gloucester's defence holding firm here. Townsend. Sauntering laterally, looking for the runner to appear at speed. Slade. Tour. Oh, the intercept! Read nicely by Anscombe, who will canter home untouched. Gloucester back in business. And in the way that Frost profited in the opening minutes here, Anscombe has for the Cherry and Whites.
Really well read by Gareth Anscombe, it has to be said. You could stick it on a postcard and it wouldn't be any less obvious. In the first half, when Gloucester set themselves up well in defence and Chiefs stopped making ground after a few phases, remember they popped the ball over the top. Townsend did, or Slade did. They kick here, Exeter keep playing. They keep doing it. They kind of go back to the old Chiefs and they keep hold of the ball, don't want to kick it. That's what happened. It became telegraphed, became too easy to read. Perhaps a little bit of sharpness of thought. Good D from Gloucester and good work from Anscombe, but a little bit less sharpness of thought from the Chiefs when compared to the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's lazy, isn't it? Recognition that you're not gone anywhere and you're not seeing what's in front of you. When they go through the phase and it gets to the far side, all they've got to do is look up and see how wide that Gloucester defensive line is. You've got 3 guys you know are going to move towards the corner and put pressure on, and they go through 1 extra pass. 2 throws, like you said, postcards, Christmas card, it's an RSVP. It's been sent a month in advance. It's a great way for Gloucester to get back into the game, but the Chiefs have shot themselves in the foot yet again.
Let's have a word with George Skivington, the Cherry and White's director of rugby, as Chiefs look to build outside the 22. George, a lifeline here, perhaps something of a gift, but you'll be delighted to be back within touching distance.
One at the start of the game, and you know, it was a really bad way to start the game. I think we've been really inaccurate in the first half. You know, I don't think we did loads wrong, but we lost a few line-outs, dropped a few balls. You can see Chiefs, they're desperate for every 50-50 and won all those battles in the first half. So we've got a lot of work to do, but you know, I think the boys are up for it.
Set piece, the obvious talking point off the back of the first 40, George.
Yeah, we just weren't accurate at it. I mean, I think, you know, the scrum wasn't too bad. They obviously dominated in one. But, you know, I think line out, we just missed a couple, you know, maybe a couple of not quite the right calls at the right times, and Exeter read it well. So these things happen, you just got to move on and find out what you're about as a team.
Thanks for your time, George, appreciate it.
Cheers.
Small details as well at the breakdown there. Ackerman was in for the steal, he gets pulled back off the ball. You've got to be really clinical here. The breakdowns are getting heavier and heavier.
This has been snaffled very effectively by Clement. It's loose again, and it's anyone's ball, and there's somewhere in amongst all that been a knock-on from Exeter. So a Gloucester scrum on that 10-metre line.
Oh, it's Vivas actually pulled back there from the far side. Capstick gets hold of him. They're just getting really heavy, the rucks. You don't normally see so many people in every single ruck, do you? You normally see super fast rucks.
Time off. Yes, thank you.
That was the matchup you wanted.
Of course it was.
For Ludlow. You could sell tickets for that, I think.
I'd buy him.
George Barton's on the field. He's come on for a head injury assessment for Christian Wade for now. That's forced Carreras out to the wing. Barton is on at fullback. And they're also changing their loose head prop here. Vivas coming off. And Jamal Ford-Robinson making his first appearance for a couple of months. Vivas making way, both of those really seen as backups to Rapava-Ruskin, whose knee continues to grumble, and it's a perennial frustration because he is one of Gloucester's absolute linchpins.
He's one of the, when he's fully on it, Rapava-Ruskin is one of the best players in the Gallagher Premiership in any position. Just would love him to get fit for his own benefit and for Gloucester's and for ours. Love watching him play.
I think one of the key things for Gloucester this afternoon, this second half, is to increase these stats. Phasing the opposition 22-4, maximum phase is 6. That's not them. That's not what we've seen in the previous 3 games.
Hodgefields.
Retreat, Exeter.
Anscombe.
Retreat, Gloucester. Retreat.
Puts the rest of his side
Retreat, Exeter.
onside. And Wyatt returns the favour.
And retreat, Gloucester. Retreat. Retreat.
Doing a similar job.
Great kick.
Getting a nice bounce on that.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
Slade's kick, which will be taken quickly, and Gloucester walk up to the 10-metre line at least. And Hathaway is going to chance it here, looking for a kindly bounce. Instead, Exeter have it.
Use it.
Jenkins does really well there, Rally, to turn and get back to that. That skips to the right. Hathaway is completely clear.
Okay, use it, please.
He does move so nicely, doesn't he? Didn't get the bounce, but what a runner.
12! 12!
Slade for territory. He's found the bounce. And he's found the mark just outside the cherry and white 22.
1 and 3. Yeah.
There's a little chip outside of the foot.
Exeter.
Yeah, he bounces his way away from him, but he's still got to be there to take it.
He gets the bounce, but if he's not running as hard as he can, it won't count for anything.
Couple of new props to bolster the Chiefs' challenge. Scott Seo and Marcus Street heading off the field, replaced by Will Goodrick-Clark and Josh Yosefa Scott.
Size of him.
These two are amongst the biggest props in the business.
Goodness me.
Throw in Aaron Painter and there's some ballast.
Yeah. Like cattle.
No. Use it. Take it in there.
Bit of a scrap going on in the backfield again.
Retreat.
Roots
Keep coming,
and
keep coming.
Ackerman are
Keep coming.
involved.
I reckon
Coming together.
Ethan Roots would be the worst bloke to pick a fight with, because he can actually do it.
Yeah, well, there is a little bit of quality martial art expertise behind him, as I know to my cost. Here we have Ackerman on the move and Carreras outside him. Good tackle coming in from Capstick, and again, Chiefs are really hustling here defensively. Gloucester having to work so hard simply to secure their own ball. Seb Blake now, dragged forwards. Anscombe resorts to the boot. Hathaway chasing. In comes Hodge. Forwards from Hodge. And Carreras, he's not got hold of that. He's got a
50,
fortunate,
22.
oh my lord, fortunate bounce.
Worked out all right.
That's taken back in.
Took it back in, didn't they?
The background, Rosie. I don't have it. It's 50-22.
I don't think he does take it back in,
No,
because
he
it's a
came from a
knock-on.
knock-on tempo back into the Gloucester half.
So is that 50-22?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So he did get hold of it, actually, Ali.
He did, actually, as it turns out. It was immaculate.
Best kick of the day, so take that back.
It's that knock on the head from Ethan Roots, isn't it?
Have you ever seen an uglier kick work out quite so brilliantly?
2 and 3
Right, Ruskin
rights,
flats.
please.
He only had ugly in his locker.
Rosie, just confirm it is a 50-22.
Gloucester
Yeah,
front
it was
row
knocked forward
changes.
by Exeter,
Knock on
back
by
into the
Exeter
Gloucester half.
50-22.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jack Singleton on for Seb Blake and Kieran Knight on at tight head for Kirill Gotovtsev. It was Knight who actually was drafted in late on last week against Quins on the loose head, now covering the tight head side.
He was so good last week at loose head as well.
Here's Llewellyn, and Gloucester potentially just warming to their theme here, having closed the gap to just 4 points. Tomas Williams whips it away, lovely handling in the midfield, and a thumping shot from Ethan Roots. It's a monster, and they've got the penalty off the back of it. Momentum swung.
It's the shot out, but it's the read as well. Straight out the back. You watch that ball go from Singleton. He's not even looking at Singleton. Whack! It's a brilliant read, matched with a brilliant collision. That is top of the range defending from the bloke who beat you up.
He does pack a punch, and I think the likelihood is that Seb Atkinson can now testify to that also.
It's a really great example for kids watching as well. Don't be satisfied with doing something great, add to it again. You know, the tackle was fantastic, but if they recycle the ball, they get to restart. No, he bounces to his feet in a millisecond, gets back, gets his hands on the ball. Don't be satisfied with the job you've just done. Think about what comes next. Great example for any back rower who's 12, 13, 14, 15. In fact, 25, 51, however old you are, it's great.
Look at Chiefs. As a consequence, they are moving up the field at a rate of knots. Carreras is under pressure. Barton's gathered it in. But they're playing their rugby in an altogether different part of the field now.
Release!
Christian Wade has failed his head injury assessment, we understand, so Barton's here to stay. Hodge.
Great kick.
Again, searching for the 50-22. Not quite.
Inside.
Not quite. Barton there, and then blocked by the chase. Again, demonstration of the hunger necessary to dig yourself out of a hole. Hodge, from a full 40 metres away, has hurtled upfield to make life at least complicated. And he's got his rewards.
He's having a very high-class match so far, Josh Hodge. What he's known for is scything runs, extreme pace. Actually, he's kicking well. He's moving the ball well. He looks really, really comfortable at the back there, really influential. What a chase.
All eyes on Jack Singleton. Gloucester with their line-out woes. Not this time. Freddie Thomas secures it. Wyatt, sharp footwork, past Carreras, past 3, 4 more, weaving onwards Wyatt. Sensational little burst to the 22. Out it comes, Slade to Hammersley. Chiefs looking to stretch this Gloucester defence. That pass is poor. Tua has too much to do. Woodburn looking to reset the dial. Tearing forwards. Townsend tight to the ruck. Josefa Scott looking to step out of the challenges. They've got an advantage behind them here. Exeter. Capstan, big old fend on Atkinson. Townsend finds Wyatt. Little chip and go from Tommy Wyatt, and back goes a diving Barton. And Exeter will take that penalty that they had in their locker. Tommy Wyatt, what a glorious few minutes.
Oh, fantastic minute or so from him, Tommy Wyatt. He's a beautiful runner when he gets going. A lot like Josh Hodge. Look at that. Change of direction at high pace. The box kick was too long, and you can't kick too long to a player of his talent. This was very nearly sensational, but what a bit of defence from George Barton. Well played, well covered.
No.
He's had to bide his time. He's been a patient man. Nasty knee injury, ACL damage, 10 months out. That was from January last year in the game against Glasgow. But an integral player, and drafted almost straight back in by Rob Baxter whenever he was able to do that. He's done it. This is a sorry sight for Gloucester. Matthias Alemano,
no foul play in the injury either, Tempo, just in the tackle.
Making his way off, arm slung.
Time off. Okay. Change 1 second.
Well,
change just not 1 second.
This is the moment it happened. Matthias Alemano looked innocuous enough, but I don't think any collision with Jacques Vermeulen is innocuous.
It's not, and you can make massive hits and your body hardly feels it, and you can make a little one like that, relatively low impact one like that. It can look innocuous, and it can do it. It's a big loss for Gloucester. It's a big old unit, lots of experience, big engine.
Cam Jordan stationed here in the middle of the maul and trying desperately to get his hands on or somewhere near the ball. I think he's actually done a really good job, Jordan.
Onside.
Chiefs still have it. Townsend trying to work it free. Here's Vermeulen. Josefa Scott for company. And the props hard at it now. Goodrick Clark. Fizzelau. Gloucester trying everything in their powers to hold out here. Frost.
He's done well there just to get an extra metre. These hits are brutal from Gloucester.
Jenkins this time. Gloucester occupying that space in front of the runners, and Vermeulen coughs the ball up. It's gone forwards.
Ludlow.
Oh.
The tackle is just brutal.
Okay, if it's clear, I'll be told. I've got to knock on. Thank you. Just trust the process.
I mean, how good are the hits, Flats?
Fantastic. Jamal Ford-Robinson piling in a couple of phases before that a couple of times. One on Vermeulen. That shot. Whoa. Lewis Ludlow. I'll tell you what, it's good in slow-mo. It's even better at full speed. If we can see it, keep your eye on Ludlow when he gets up. Well, we can't see it from this angle. He loves it, mate. Looks like Andy Murray winning Wimbledon. Watch him. Have some of that, that's what he's there for. He don't want the glory, mate, he wants the shots. Headbutting his mate now.
I think their defence all round has been really good in the red zone because Exeter have been excellent in their attack, their phase play. This is a really good example of it. There's only 4 guys there, and look at all the setup that they get. They get a bit of line speed, but then there's a recognition, actually, no, we've got to stay connected. If we move forward and we're not together, we're going to get done. Atkinson steps out, Llewellyn steps out, and they nullify a position that was really strong for the Chiefs.
And you're no better than me, Oz, but you're in attack there, it feels promising. As soon as you see the defence opposite, you almost stop coming and cover you man for man and start talking and relaxing. Oddly, your options seem to disappear.
It puts the emphasis on you to change the pitch and not them.
In amongst all the excitement of the Ludlow tackle, the knock-on was upgraded from a scrum to a penalty.
Shouting at the officials.
There was quite a lot of shouting going on all round, and a lot of celebrating from Lewis Ludlow, whose version of excitement is to headbutt your mate. From Freddie Thomas had to take evasive action. It was all too much. Very well claimed this by Ackerman. And Tomas Williams dabs this onwards. Vermeulen, though, is onto it for Exeter.
Good cover that from Vermeulen. It was intelligent, it was mobile for such a big bloke.
Hammersley, a lot of space in the backfield. Hathaway heading back to be there as an option for Anscombe, who funks it clear.
Good kick that. Big pressure reliever that.
It's been a bit comfortable, hasn't it, for the Chiefs? They've been in the red zone for a while. They've been pushing back Gloucester. Now they find themselves in their own half. 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, 4-point lead suddenly seems very fucking very brittle. Fragile.
Chris Harris is with us. Off the bench for Gloucester. And Frost doing well, but ultimately the ball taken in by Jamal Ford-Robinson, and Gloucester have it, and Ludlow is trying to provide that target again. Options left and right. Atkinson, Anscombe to the boot. Carreras chasing, and the ball running away from everybody. Apologies for the fruity language you might have picked up just a moment or two ago.
Yep. 8 wide. 8.
The kick does run away, but you get a different bounce there, and Chiefs are under all sorts of pressure. Just a bit of tempo being injected by Gloucester. A big Albies on.
Yeah, where you got change and got man down.
Tell you what, Ruan Ackerman, what a player, what an asset he is for Gloucester. You've got someone like Albert Tuasui on the bench, you've got to use him. Power for days.
So Tuasui for Ackerman, Harris for Llewellyn. And that's just about the entirety of the Gloucester bench sprung, all bar Caelan Englefield, who's waiting his turn at scrum half. He might be waiting a while longer, unused last week. Such is the significance and the huge influence of Tomas Williams for Gloucester.
They're on top of him, they're on top of him. He can't move. Okay, use it, please.
Into the final quarter. 4 points the difference. And there will be some nerves in these parts, wondering just whether Exeter can hold out here. Clement to the line, Tuasui through the gain line.
Tell you what, he's isolated though.
And they've come off their feet here through Henry Slade. The ball worked wide to Hathaway, and acceleration is exceptional. Hodge trying to do his best to get in the way, and Woodburn shielding that ball pretty cleverly. In the final analysis.
How chill was Ollie Woodburn then?
He's so dangerous though, isn't he? Look, there's no space, and he accelerates away from Woodburn and gets the kick in. We're seeing this in the world game, the importance of how fast your wingers have become.
For me live, it's been charged down and touched, but Gareth hasn't.
So did it come off Woodburn's knee here?
Touches that live. Gareth hasn't got a touch.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right.
Does it out already?
Yeah, it does touch 15. Yeah, just touches his fingers.
White ball.
Wow, that is a big turnaround.
Gloucester possession. That's huge news.
Big news. And for all that promise in the first half, first 20-30 minutes of this game from Exeter, the tempo, the energy, the aggression, as George Skivington said a few minutes ago, Ali, the hunger from Chiefs to get after every 50-50. They're under it now.
Cam Jordan has it for Gloucester. And a pivotal moment right here, right now. Gloucester not really been at their best this afternoon.
17.
But bearing down on a try line.
Advantage.
And they're over now. And Jamal Ford-Robinson is celebrating. And Ian Tempest is awarding the score. And Gloucester are in front.
Big moves from Jamal Ford-Robinson. He's been really good since he's come on. Mega aggressive, mega powerful, what we've come to expect from him.
Where you are, yeah, where you are.
But I tell you what, we'll find out. We know a bit more about Gloucester than we did a year ago. We know enough about them. They're good enough to win this game. We'll find out about the Chiefs now. Really good mauling from Gloucester. It went this way and that, but they never let it stop moving. It's always in motion. So they're not in danger of being forced to get the ball out, and they just relaxed in there. And when it went left, when the Exeter defence moved in towards the post, someone in there's talking, bring it left, there's no one home. Straight through the guts of it. It's good, patient, powerful mauling.
From a George Skivington perspective, a quiet contentment that his side are able to weather storms. 3 consecutive Premiership wins in a row, arriving here at Sandy Park will help with that. Wide with the conversion.
You often see this, Flats, don't you, actually, when you get set up to stop the drive. If you get 4 or 5 players on the wrong side, you end up spinning them all the way around to that side. That allows you then to put the pressure on through the middle. It happens not once on this occasion. They actually reset themselves. They get back in behind the ball, but then they spin back to the left on the other side with all the extra guys, and that allows Ford-Robinson to go through the middle. That must be so tough in there, though, feeling the difference of where the pressure is.
It's a bit like a drift or a blitz defence, there was. There are times when you've got to be rock solid, but you can't be too aggressive because you'll spin it to the opposition advantage. So you've almost got to... Oh, here we go. What a game.
Chiefs camped, and they've brought on a handful of new players. One of them is Jack Innard, who's just carried into the 22. Tom Cairns now playing at 9. Fizilau feeds Roots, who's been one of the standout characters today. Cairns, quick ball for Josefa Scott. Franco Molina's on the field as well now. Here he is with his first carry. He's come on to replace Richard Capstick. And a penalty in front of the posts.
Put yourself in George Skivington's brain now. What is he thinking as he looks at that?
Offside and too late.
Round the side, couldn't resist, nicking the ball. Guaranteed 3. Keep your eyes on... I mean, Vermeulen smashes his mate through contact there. He's never through the gate and over the top. He just sneaks in the side and picks it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Not in a million years are you going to get away with that in front of your own posts. Can't see George Skivington from here. There we can. I mean, he looks mean anyway.
Well, that scowl tells a story. And then the raised eyebrow, which suggests he can't quite understand the baffling stupidity of it all.
Must be hard to buy him a Christmas present.
What, Skivs?
Yeah, no, just with his face when he unwraps it, even if he's delighted.
The Grinch.
3 for Slade, 3 for Exeter. Back in front, 15 minutes to play, a 2-point margin, and Rob Baxter pensive, knowing so much rest on this quarter of an hour.
And it's only one player, but Jack Innard's come off the bench at hooker for Exeter Chiefs, a key position. Really like watching him play, really impactful player, but he's got to do something big in this last 15 minutes because the bloke he's replacing has been the best player on the field so far this afternoon. He's got a big job to do.
Very well hung on to by Molina, and it's bouncing around all over the show. It's gone forwards, and Gloucester playing with the knock-on advantage. Cam Jordan on the carry. Anscombe looking for the peace and the relative calm of territory, but finding only Woodburn. He stuck it down the throat of George Barton. Woodburn, eyes on the prize at all times. Excellent from Woodburn.
Onside. Start clearly on. Use it, please.
Once again, Ludlow jogging back into the backfield for Gloucester. That support man for Barton. And there to assist with the clear out. Trying to get rid of a handful of Exeter Chiefs bodies. Tuasui cuts a nice angle and drives forward again. Takes 2 to bring him down.
They've got 2 down now, Chiefs as well. Hammersley felt that.
Atkinson to Harris, to Hardaway, space now. Over the top of Hodge, back comes Wyatt, but it's not forwards. Gloucester, that's sensational from Anscombe, and Carreras is there to try to make something of it. Did that go forwards again? Officials are happy enough. Tuasui finds Anscombe, and here's Atkinson queuing up to the right. Ludlow in that 5-metre channel. Clement, the tip on, and now a rumbling night and another brilliant offload. Ford Robinson is there. 2 sensational offloads from Gloucester have put them in pole position here. Rumbling forwards. Ford Robinson waits and protects and has a little bit of help from Singleton here. Molina, Ford Robinson rolling forwards, and they're only 1 more metre from the try line.
Not clear.
Clement heads inwards, looks for Slade, tries to drive through Slade. Chiefs bodies on the line.
They've got lots of bodies out wide in the back line, Gloucester.
One more surge. Cam Jordan eyes up the try line. He's denied as well. Heroic defending from Exeter.
Don't pull play. Don't pull play.
Chiefs got to be careful. Don't give the freebie. Don't give the penalty away. The free shot out wide.
Cherry and White's still burrowing. Still digging for victory.
6 offside.
Another
penalty advantage. Never on.
And there's the freebie, Ali.
Big old carry. The penalty is now behind them. And now some width. Whipped out and intercepted by Hodge.
Offside.
And back we come.
How good have the skill levels been of some of these forwards? In fact, all the players. There's the first little handling bit. Chip over the top. Great little kick. Regather from the knock-on. They do well not to give away the penalty, the Chiefs, but then a little flick out the back from Anscombe. It's lovely. And then some of the props are thinking, well, if you can do it, mate, so can I. Great hands. And the offload.
Hey, he's on 1 clean break a week at the moment. He's on a 1 clean break a week average. Admittedly only for 2 weeks, but he's in great form, Kieran Knight.
And then the Chiefs defend really well on the freebie.
Yeah.
But I think we've been privileged, Ali. The last 2 weeks, some of the skill levels we've seen in the Gallagher Premiership, some of the games have just been insanely good, haven't they? I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. I can't think of a better fortnight of rugby.
I think this transition in terms of thinking over the last season or 2 into to win this league, it's not only defences, you need a good defence, but you've got to go and score tries and score points and take people apart, and almost a renewed emphasis on entertainment. I think we're lucky to be part of the transition, actually, to sit and watch it, because I think it really has gone up a level or 2. Fantastic to watch.
Yeah, unquestionably the switch up in emphasis from defence towards attack. The need to just offer a little bit more than simply staying in the fight. You still have those games, those niggardly one-score matches. Thinking particularly of the game that Harlequin squeezed out Saracens at the Stoop this season. It was utterly compelling, but it wasn't full of globetrotter moments. But we've had so many dazzling.
The draw yesterday at Twickenham off
minutes.
the post with the last kick. The Northampton game. The game at Bristol at Leicester the week before. I mean, some of the skill levels, the pace, the recycling speed, the fitness of these guys. I mean, these are proper athletes now.
You're now captain.
I'm saying that looking across this country.
We are.
Well, Dafydd Jenkins has emptied the tank, and he's been replaced by Rusi Tuima for a very important 10 minutes or so. Henry Slade assumes the Exeter Chiefs captaincy. And I think we're waiting for Santi Carreras to be given a ball, ideally.
Time off. Restart the shot clock, please, Andy. No ball.
Here it comes. So
yes,
this
please.
to
restart the clock. Time back on, please.
grab the lead back again for the Cherry and Whites. 2 from 3. Nervousness all around Sandy Park. You don't need me to tell you that missed the target. The roar inside this place for the Santi Carreras miss, just about the loudest of the day.
One of the best players in the game. They all feel pressure, all of them. All of them, and this would be a really compelling game anyway. It would be great to watch anyway, but because of Exeter Chiefs' position, everything feels massive. Everything has a renewed, augmented significance. It's great drama.
Steepling restart from Henry Slade. It ends up with Clemens. Now we've got a fascinating last few minutes here to enjoy. Tuasui, another bruising run, typically bruising run. Tomas Williams finds Singleton. They want to be playing some rugby down the other end of the field, ideally. Cross comes Slade in double quick time, shapes to kick, feeds Wyatt instead. Anscombe waiting.
Retreat, White, retreat!
And another excellent kick from the Gloucester 10. Looks to be limping a touch.
So it's just after he gave that offload. I think he got a bit of a twisting tackle, but I say he seems all right. He definitely can feel it, can't he?
Time off.
Testing out that knee, which of course has been so troublesome. Missed best part of 2 years getting that right. As we see the arrival of Will Hayden Woods.
Are we going to take play? Okay, time on. Time on.
Ollie Woodburn has come off.
Let's go, Exeter!
So that will prompt another bit of rejigging, I suspect. Zach Wimbush is on as well, which is significant for the Chiefs. First appearance in the Premiership this season for Wimbush. Highly rated, and a big old lump deployed more often than not in the midfield.
Chiefs here squeezing for territory, getting on the front foot, exhausting the Gloucester forward pack. What they're really hoping for is they don't need to break out and someone gives away a penalty. Doesn't look like that's happening. Got to move it.
Out it comes from Cairns to Slade. Wimbush the dummy runner, and Hayden Woods bustling his way to the 10-metre line. Here is Wimbush. That offload stuck. Molina. Franco Molina bursting free. Tearing towards the try line. 6 metres short. Volume levels rising inside Sandy Park. Queuing up to the left. Slade feeds it onwards. Tuima can't free the arm sufficiently. Maybe doesn't need to. 1 metre away. The most important metre, maybe, of Chiefs season. They found it somehow. Glorious moments for Exeter fans. Josh Josefa-Scott with a try that might take them to their first Premiership win of the season.
Greg Thistle out, Jacques Vermeulen, they were moving out to the left. It absolutely felt like the ball was going to get moved. It was going to get passed off the deck. That's exactly what Gloucester thought. And then the big fella, Josh Josefa-Scott, all 23 stone of him, picked and went. They couldn't do anything about it. How about Will Hayden Wood through the middle? Super sharp, catching the Gloucester defence, drifting on the inside. got the offload away. Molina needed stopping and wasn't. Of all people to miss that tackle, it's Lewis Ludlow. Henry Slade did well. You're thinking, give it. Do you know what? He was right not to. It was never quite on, that pass. Everyone thought it was getting moved, except Big Josh.
What a moment for your first try of the season. This to put the Chiefs clear of a converted try.
Oh, he's missed it.
Oh, he's just faded it across the front of the post.
Look, added to the pressure for the last 5 minutes. But that guy there has had a great impact. Picks it up as a scrum off. Everyone's thinking he's going to pass it. Steps, breaks through 2 tackles. And then you've just watched all the Gloucester defenders. They all got a honeypot back behind the ball. They get too tight. 3 phases later, over they go.
Five minutes remaining now. Vermeulen clings on and then knocks it forwards. And Gloucester have a lifeline. Oh, they've secured it. What's happened there? Surely
well, I think he held it out, and I think Gloucester knocked it out of his hands backwards, was what was judged to have happened. But geez, it felt risky not to just hang on to that anyway.
Okay, use it, please. You've had it, 9.
The stands really rocking now in this place. They know they're close. Carreras driven back hard by the weight of this defence, and still Exeter come up hard with their line speed. Chris Harris freed up by Anscombe. Gloucester need to pull something out here. Ford Robinson met on the gain line again. Josefa Scott. Williams feeds Jordan. A lot of phases happening here for Gloucester, so not a great deal of territorial gain, which is why Anscombe goes to the boot. Ford Robinson taking a while to get back up to his feet. Gloucester therefore with 14 men at the moment. Hodge sees space in behind Hathaway, who is quickly back into position.
Out the 10, retreat!
He sliced that down the middle.
Retreat.
Anscombe. Barton. Gloucester desperate for territory, but they need to hang on to the ball, such as the...
I think they're waiting to get a 50-22 opportunity, Ali. Might come here, he's got chance, he's looked. Oh, he's pulled it badly.
He's not got enough distance on that. He'll take it for now, but he wanted 3 or 4 more metres to drive it into the 22 and retain possession as a consequence. Becoming a little desperate from Gloucester.
I think for a while, well, until Josefa Scott and Chiefs scored that try, I think Gloucester, because there were so few points in it, they were thinking just get ourselves down there, and eventually the pressure on Chiefs as the home team with their losing run in the forefront of their minds, they'll make a mistake. Now there's that buffer. I think you're right, Al. I think they've got to keep that ball in hand a bit, Gloucester. Take some risks.
There's the run that the Chiefs have been on. 8 this season, 1 from last. So 9 in a row in the league. It's their worst ever. Can they get it done here with 2.5 minutes remaining? They have the ball, which is a start. It's with Inard, and they're beginning to get some traction with this drive as well, late on.
No, get out. Sorry. Is that a penalty, lads?
Wimbush.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Just one of those that Rob Baxter would love to have been able to call upon earlier in the season. Trouble with a foot injury in pre-season, kept him out of action. Here another penalty. More breathing space.
You're fine, and you play it off your feet.
And a growing sense of anticipation all around us.
Thank you.
Could have gone either way, that, Ali. Clement's going to feel a little bit aggrieved, isn't he?
Well, it's whether he's directly at the back. I mean, he's directly over the ball. So he's to the left-hand side of the ruck, but he's over the ball. That could have gone either way. He wasn't well balanced, was he? He wasn't well balanced. Left hand on the deck, yeah.
Okay, listen. This all sound like
back inside Gloucester's territory.
I've got TMO, just the process, please.
Chiefs with this margin
Sorry.
would move 2 points ahead of Newcastle at the bottom of the table.
Anscombe's gone as well with a dislocated finger by the looks of things,
17
Ali.
is off. Number 10, please.
Jamal Ford-Robinson is coming
He's got
off as
Jimbo.
well.
Thank you. Open up, please.
So late disruption for the Cherry and Whites.
Jack,
Only a
middle,
minute to
hang
go.
on.
Caelan Englefield is on. And he'll be playing 10 by the look of things now. Up goes Tuima, gets it away to fizzle out.
There's one minute tackle, no foul play.
Possession. Absolutely everything to the Chiefs here. Another try, of course, to give them the bonus point.
No, not over the top.
But that might be riches that they feel they could do without at this point.
Use it.
A simple win would mean so much.
Release, lads, release.
Hasn't been simple though, is it? They've had to fight so hard. It's been flat out, this.
No hands.
Cairns fishes it out. They know just a couple more phases will do it. Roots with one more carry. He's been immense today. And the Chiefs fans feel that the job is done here.
Yes.
The ball is secure. 7.5 agonising months without a win in the Premiership. The rot stops here. The best of bookends to 2024 for Exeter. The new year looking altogether brighter now. They're on the board. They're off the bottom. They're winners again. Full time at Sandy Park. Exeter 22, Gloucester 15.